Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Or should I say, hi guys, how is it all going? So, why have I started my video this morning with Dave Oliver's intro? Um, Dave had a bit of a health issue a few days ago. He ended up in hospital. I don't want to go into details, but all I want to say is, on behalf of everybody within the group, Dave, get well soon, mate. We are half missing you, and we'll see you when you're back in action again. And do what the doctors tell you, please. I've been there myself. I had a bit of a stroke, probably about 5-6 years ago, and a few days into my recuperation, I decided to flaunt the rules a little bit, and it backfired on me. So please do what they're telling you. They're telling you for a reason. But as I say, mate, we are missing you. We're looking forward to you coming back, but only when you're good and ready and fully recovered. So you just take care of yourself, and we're all here waiting for you to come back. So just take care, mate. Yeah. Hi to some new subscribers. I've got 3. I'm up to 135, which I'm really pleased with. Let's see, we've got Pineapple Bowtie Productions, Chris Annable, who was the director of One Night Rental, which I talked about last week, and Straight to Video. Now, all of these have got connections to One Night Rental, and I'm assuming that they've subscribed due to the video that I posted, the short sort of 4 or 5 minute review of One Night Rental. So I thank you for that, guys. Welcome to the channel. As I've said before, there is a Facebook group if you want to pop over and join that. But hope you like what we're doing here, and I look forward to many more new subscribers, hopefully. I'm not that bothered, as you know. It doesn't really fuss me at all. I've got 135 now, and that's okay. That's fine. It's slowly but surely creeping up. So, as I say, welcome to the channel, guys, and I hope you like what we're trying to do here. Another little bit of news: my website is back up and running. A few weeks ago, I noticed it wasn't looking quite right, and a lot of the pictures and the text had disappeared on it. Scrolling down through on the dashboard, I noticed at the bottom that the theme had gone tits up. There was a little message at the bottom saying screen style sheet is missing or something like that. I had no idea how to put it right, so I went to the website Fiverr, which I've been thinking to use for quite a while since it first happened. I knew that I wouldn't be able to do this on my own, so I went over there, found a guy who specialises in WordPress sort of problems and fixes errors and stuff like that. Sent him details of what the problem was, sent him my login details to the actual website. He went in, had a look. A day later, he sent me a message saying it's all fixed. I went on, and it was so good to see it looking the way that it used to do before it went wrong. I genuinely thought I'd lost it. I tried a couple of new themes and they just didn't look right. I knew what I wanted to look like when I first started it, and this was the only theme that matched my requirements, with sidebars down either side where that I could put movie posters and all sorts down there. It looks absolutely magnificent, and I'd forgotten how good it looked until I saw it last week after this guy had fixed it for me. It cost me 80 quid, but I tell you what, it was worth every penny. When I got the bill, I did think at first, oh God, that's a bit pricey. But then I thought of the amount of work he must have put into it, because he didn't get back to me for the best part of a day. And to me, it is now worth every penny. So if you're watching this, James, which I know you're not, thanks ever so much, mate. Really appreciate it. I will be posting articles on there. Any suggestions as to what I can start putting on there would be more than welcome. I think, Chris, you once suggested to me that I use it as a kind of a viewing diary, and also listing, sort of putting photographs of all the stuff that I'm buying, all that kind of thing. But if anybody else has got any suggestions as to what they would like to see on this website, I am going to revive it, bring it back to life, and hopefully make it sort of what it was again, because it had, up until it went down, 46,000 hits, which is not bad for a website that's only been up and running for what, 2-3 years. So if I've had 46,000 people visiting it and looking at what I've been writing and the images that I've been putting on there, that's brilliant. I'm really, really impressed with that. So as soon as I start posting articles, I will be sharing them on Facebook. So if you could pop over to the website, just have a quick read of the article and drop me some little comments on, I'd be very much, very, very, very grateful for that. But I'll let you know when I start. It won't be just yet. There's a couple of bits that I need to take off it and replace with other bits. I just want to get it fine-tuned, which is what I was trying to do when it went down. So that could have been I basically must have tapped a wrong button or hit something wrong. I don't know. But it's all back up and running now, and it looks great. So really, really pleased about that. Right, I'll start with comments on last week's video. Jason K, our Ginger Ninja. Great vid, Tony. Thanks, Jace. Much appreciated. One Night Rental. Fun movie and had huge nostalgic value, as that opening sequence really took me back to when I first saw Clerks. Could this be a future Kevin Smith? I would not be at all surprised to see Chris Hannibal doing something very similar to what Kevin Smith does. I really, really enjoyed this film, as I said last week on that video. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. It was, as you say, it was just great fun and a real nostalgic hit, especially for me, having worked in a video shot in the sort of 80s when this was mostly set, I think. Is Ricky the next Silent Bob? Rick, Silent? You've got to be fucking joking, aren't you? Actually, he's more a J than Silent Bob. Yeah, very much so. How good is that book? After the World Ends is really good and took me right back to the good old video store days of my youth. Same here. I love that book. It is absolutely magnificent. The artwork in there is just superb. There are a lot of movies in there that I've never even heard of, that I had no idea even existed. So this watch list of mine, due to stuff like this, is just getting bigger and bigger. How hell I'm going to actually get through it, I don't know. But that book is superb. Is that the only book you've got, Jace? I'd be very curious to see other ones in your collection. Love these collection videos. So if you've got sort of a lot of movie-related books, I'd be very, very curious to see which ones you've got. Maybe a vid on that one at some point soon. So thanks for that, Jace. Much appreciated. Rick. Awesome vid, Tony, mate. Didn't know it was Weaver's mum in the pic on Aliens. Very fun fact. Hope you're well, buddy. Yeah, I'm doing okay now, Rick. Still got a few little issues that I'm wrestling with, but on the whole, not too bad at all. It was interesting. I love little bits of trivia like that, especially if it's stuff that I didn't know. But yeah, that one caught me off guard as well. I'd not heard that one before. Dave Lowe. Dave, it was so good to hear from you on here, mate. I don't see Dave much anymore. We work at the same place, but he used to work in a department where I basically used to run into him sort of once, maybe twice a day, and we'd have a little natter and this, that and the other. But he's changed department. He's working up in the office now, so I don't see him very much. So it was really good to hear from you on this one, mate. Thanks for the great Saturday morning videos, Tony. You're more than welcome, Dave. We watched the new Roadhouse movie last night. We both thoroughly enjoyed it. Great action, great laughs, with a slither of cheesiness. 2 hours absolutely flew by in no time at all. Jake Gyllenhaal is great, as always played the role perfectly. Never had a worry about that. My main concern was when Conor McGregor got cast. I don't watch or really keep up with UFC, but I have seen stories of the guy being a bit of a dick. Mostly the stories I think I've seen. And I've seen interviews with him. He's a right arsehole. I've got to admit that he's probably the main reason why I would not usually watch this. So it's fair to say I wasn't looking forward to seeing him in it. I was pleasantly surprised. Can he act? Not sure, but he was cast very well in the role he had to play and gave me a bunch of belly laughs along the way. Overall, a very good movie, an easy 7.5 out of 10. Post Malone even makes a blink and you'll miss it appearance. I don't know who Post Malone is. I need to look it up. I've listened to a couple of podcasts this week to do with the Roadhouse remake. Good podcasts as well. And they both mention Post Malone. And I remember thinking, who's Post Malone? Is he somebody that was in the original? I don't know. I will look it up and I'll find out. let's see. Mark, you watched both versions of Roadhouse, the Swayze version and the Gyllenhaal version. I genuinely can't make up my mind which one was worse. I take it you weren't keen then. You were saying that you'd only made it through about 45 minutes of both of them. So, yeah. I, I, I don't know why. I just assumed you would like it because I'm guessing the new version, at any rate, is quite violent. But obviously not. I will be taking this movie in mostly because it seems to be the film of the moment. Everybody's talking about it, and it is free on Prime, so I will give it a go. Whether I will make it through it with it being, I'm assuming it's going to be mega violent. I've already seen one scene of a guy getting his arm broken, so. But I will have a look at it, possibly Tuesday night when I'm on my own. I will give it a go, and I will give you my honest thoughts of it. But you definitely enjoyed it, Dave, and that is what's tempted me to give it a go. I watched the trailer again last night, and I thought, yeah, maybe. So yes, I will give it a go, and I'll let you know next week when I've watched it to let you know what I thought of it. So thanks for that, Dave. It is really good to see you back again. Love those two discs you got, by the way, from HMV. Is it Magic Cop and another one? Again, I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks back, and they were talking about a movie called Magic Crystal, which I believe is the same kind of thing, sort of a martial arts fantasy movie, and that podcast got me very interested in that movie, so that might be one that I'll grab because I believe it's due to be released on Blu-ray at some point soon. But yeah, looking forward to your reviews of the two that you bought, mate. Is it too much to ask that you do it in front of a camera? I know you don't like it, but please, I'd love to see you do a review like that. I really would. If I can do it, you can. I know you can. So as I say, great to hear from you, Dave. Steve Mack, talking of hit rates, my video for the Roaring Twenties has gone to 995 views. Constantly astonished on what gets more attention. It always surprises me. As I say, I was told at work a couple of weeks ago by a guy who I think he subscribes to the channel, but he said, "Did you know one of your videos has got 1,000 hits?" And I said, "No. Which one?" He says, I don't know. So I had a look, and the one I assume he's talking about, as I said last week, is my review for Kes, and this is going back a couple of years. So yeah, it constantly surprises me as well, Steve. My busiest one is on a Panasonic 820 player, over 6,000 views. Bloody hell. It also has the most comments. I need to take a look at that one, just see what you're doing. See what you're doing that's right. Line of Duty is totally addictive and Brit Telly at its best. We couldn't leave it alone. I think now we're 3 seasons in, and I think we're due to start season 4. But we ended up watching a drama on Channel 5. They've got some cracking looking dramas on there called Coma. Oh God, I mean, I'll talk about this more next week when I've got my thoughts together on it, but talk about shouting at the telly, my God. It was just one of the most infuriating, annoying, irritating things I think I've ever seen, but really, really well done. Jason Watkins, who starred in Trolleyed, and a host of other people, it was just really, really well done. And it did sort of turn me on to Channel 5 dramas, and I didn't realise there were quite so many. Love Rat is another one that I'm going to be taking a look at, but I'll talk more about Coma next week, and I've got my thoughts together on that one. I saw The Doors at Marble Arch in London, and they were smoking pot in the cinema, and I tripped out, and it was amazing. I'm not surprised. If there's any movie that warrants being tripped out to, it's The Doors. Cracking film. I do need to watch it again. I thought Val Kilmer, he even looked like him. Yeah, I can very much imagine that. There is a region hack for the Panasonic 820 player. What player do you use, Tony? It is a DP UB 820. As I say, I've got the region. Well, I've got the machine sort of region hacked for DVDs, but not Blu-rays. And my understanding is that there isn't a region hack for Blu-rays. It can't be done. But if you're telling me different, and it's relatively easy to do, as in I'm not going to have to go into the back and take circuit boards out and replace them with other bits, which I absolutely can't do, then I'd be interested. Region hacks used to be a series of numbers. It was usually something like this: open the drawer, put a DVD in the drawer, press this sequence of numbers, and then press close, and then turn the machine off and turn it back on, and then all of a sudden you'd find that your machine was region hacked, and you could basically play DVDs from all over the world, and that worked really well. But I've never heard of anything regarding Blu-rays, and believe me, nobody will be happier than me if I can hack the player to play Region 1 Blu-rays. It's the main reason that I won't import 4K discs from the States. I realise obviously that 4K discs are region free, but they usually come with a Blu-ray disc full of extras, which I would love to watch, but obviously I can't watch because the Blu-ray disc is region locked, and that's why I won't import them just yet. But if you're telling me that it's possible, I'd be very curious to find out how you've done it and whether I can do it as well. I'd be very grateful to hear your thoughts on that. Your next list video that you're planning is Scream and Shout Factory 4Ks. Can't wait for that one. Really enjoyed the movie one, mate. That was cracking. I did actually write down pretty much every title that you mentioned. I think there were only two that I looked at and thought, oh, I'm not really bothered about those two, but most of them I'm definitely up for, and I'm fairly sure that I will be up for pretty much all of Scream and Shout Factory. I'd have been importing no end of those if I could play them. Every time I look at a really good horror title, it's usually Shout Factory or Scream Factory. So yeah, I'd be very curious to see which ones you've got, Steve, and also whether you can advise me on how to region hack the player to play Blu-rays. So thanks for that, Steve. Guy, great vid, matey. Oh, you want to play? Right, game on. I wasn't throwing down the gauntlet when I sang you that song. I'm not even sure why I did it. I listened to it a couple of days ago, and it is now one of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time. I don't know why I did it. Why on earth would I start a video with a sweary intro like that? As I say, I thought it might be funny, and it probably was on initial listening, but listening to it yesterday, it just made me cringe. So I've not thrown the gauntlet down, mate, I promise you. And I know you said that you never get offended, you can say anything to me, but every now and then I think somebody does overstep the mark, and it's like, it's not nice. So if I did offend in any way, or if it came across as taking the piss, I do apologise. I'm not throwing the gauntlet down, I promise you. What else have we got here? Telescope. Oh, here we go. Were you watching the skies, or were you actually a peeping Tom? I was not a peeping Tom, you fucking swine. No, it was literally watching the skies. That's how innocent I was back then. The Crow trailer. I'm not holding out much hope. More on that later. Callie had some thoughts on this one, actually. So I'll come back to that. Mark, you replied, sitting in the shed like any 16 to 17-year-old would do. Do I denote a note of sarcasm there, Mr. Bailey? Don't know about you, but I was in a permanent state of pissed by that age. I didn't discover alcohol properly till I was about 18. My problem was I was so young looking, I couldn't get into pubs until I was literally 18. I looked like a kid back then. The same with the cinema. I couldn't get into ex-certificate movies until I was literally 18. And I think on my 18th birthday, the first thing I did was not go to a pub, but go to Burton Odeon to watch an ex-certificate movie. And the only one they had was The Bitch, Joan Collins, so I went to see that with the Raincoat Brigade. I thought it was amazing, still do. But yeah, I couldn't get into cinemas or pubs until I was 18. Certainly not for horror films or adult films or anything like that. So. And Guy, you replied, oh, I definitely was arsehole most of the time back then. What do you mean back then? DL Guy. So thanks for that, Guy. Much appreciated for that. Jason, great vid as always. Timothy what's his name? Chalamet. God damn it. Only seen one of his movies besides Wonka, and that's Christmas with the Coopers. As for June, I'd rather run around Stapenhall Gardens, stark bollock naked, than watch that dog shite. Not a fan of Dune. You're not a fan of sci-fi though, Jay, so that actually doesn't surprise me that much. The Revenant, in my top 10 movies of all time. Your favourite movie is Close Encounters. It just shows different tastes. And it does, absolutely. I didn't object to The Revenant. It's just one of those movies that, and you've seen no end like this, I know, where you watch it once and you think, am I going to watch it again? No, I don't think so. I've really enjoyed it, kind of, but I won't watch it again, which is why I tended it up at the RSPCA shop. But as I've said before, it's what makes this group so brilliant is the diverse tastes of everybody in it. As I've said, if we all like the same kind of movies, it'd be bloody boring. So glad you're enjoying Never Seen as much as I am. I've actually watched about 10 movies where I've turned them off as I couldn't watch them, so they never made it. I've got to admit that's one thing I've never ever done, as far as I can remember anyway, is turn a movie off halfway through. I always think that if I've invested sort of 45 minutes to an hour in something, I've got to see how it turns out, even if I'm never going to watch it again. So I've got to say, I can't remember a time when I ever did that. Let's see, some I've watched for the first time and regret not watching them sooner. Been there, done that. So it's all new to me too. I've challenged myself to do 50, but it depends if the terrestrial channels show anything I've not seen. I've already got 2 Christmas movies in the planner to watch for the first time in December. I'm planning ahead. My God, are you ever? I'm sure the terrestrial channels will keep you going. I hope this goes on and on, Jace. Rather than 50, just keep it going. I love this, and I love tuning in on a Saturday morning to find out which one you've gone for this week. It's just brilliant. So you keep it going as long as you can, Jace. I'm really enjoying it. Let's see, talking of planning ahead, I've now wrote down 53 years of stuff for the Christmas TV thread. Christ almighty, you do plan ahead. It's taken about 10 hours to do so far. I won't need to look at it again now until I start it. How's it going to look? I don't know. It was very interesting to do, as you notice a pattern of movies and TV shows from the 70s up until the present day. All will be revealed from November the 1st. Looking forward to that one already. I love your Christmas threads. And every year it's been something different, rather than just putting your favourite Christmas movies, which are pretty much the same ones every year. You sort of put a different spin on it, and I love it. So thanks for that, Jace. Callie, oh, so good to hear from you. I will be replying to the videos that I've not replied to of yours later this morning. I've been sadly lacking in comments, as you pointed out. Let's see what you put here. You drafted me one hell of a comment here. I'm really chuffed with it. Thanks for this, Callie. Tony time on a Saturday morning, perfection. Thank you. First off, oi, get your own intro catchphrase. And thank you for the song, loved it. Oh, you did enjoy it then. I thought I'd maybe push the envelope a little bit with that one, but if you're telling you enjoyed it, it's not something I'm going to be doing every week or even whenever. As I said earlier, I think it was just, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but on reflection I thought, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. Here's a little reminder. It goes, and remember, if you can't be good, be twisted. Don't get mad, get sadistic, which is what I was trying to do, but I'm so bleeding nice, it never comes off that way. I couldn't be sadistic or twisted if I tried. I don't think I could anyway. I hope not. I get what you mean, hon, when you said sometimes it feels like a slog. There are some episodes where I just want to get it done, and others where I just want to keep going. The ups and downs of being a content creator. You see, you get it. Dave Oliver gets it, Scott gets it, or everybody that does YouTube videos gets it, is that some weeks you're just not in the mood. And I will normally make notes throughout the week, sort of spend about 15-20 minutes just making notes, so I'm all ready for Sunday. And there are other weeks where I leave it till absolutely the last minute, and today is one of those. I'd made very brief notes on a couple of bits, but I got up at like 6 o'clock this morning and started sort of typing things in, and instantly thought, you know what, you should have done this last week, it's not going to go well. And sure enough, it didn't. The first draft of this, I got sort of 15 minutes into it, and it just didn't feel right. It absolutely didn't feel right. So I just stopped it and deleted it and thought, that's it, it's gone now. You've got to do it again. So even though Jason said, you made a comment last week, Jason, I forgot to include it, that instead of doing blooper reels, just leave the mistakes in. What makes you you. So that's all very well, but when you do it, I mean, most of those bloopers that I did last week, they were from one video, and I can sit here for 10-15 minutes just starting things, and then you've seen it, and it's so annoying. But Callie, like I say, you do get it. You get that some weeks you are just not in the mood. More often than not, you are, and I love doing this. Don't get me wrong; I absolutely adore this. But there are just weeks that I come to it and I think, you know what, I could just completely just forget this for this week. But it came close, sort of 25 minutes in, so about half an hour ago, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, this isn't working. I'm not going to bother with this. I'll just put on a little thing about normal service will be resumed. But I thought, you know what, just go for it, give it one last chance, and it seems to have worked out. So yeah, you do get it. Yes. So you don't like Mad Max 2? You're not going to like a future episode we have planned then? I wouldn't say I don't like it. It just didn't do as much for me as I thought it would. But I do need to watch it again. I do like to give movies a second chance if I don't like them the first time round. So I do like the Mad Max franchise without a doubt, and I'm looking forward to seeing Furiosa. But again, Fury Road, I need to watch that again because that didn't do for me what I thought it would do. But yeah, I wouldn't say I don't like Mad Max. It's just that particular one didn't do much for me. But watch this space. We shall see what happens. Yes, the Queen of Mean loves Care Bears. So what? So nothing. It just seemed amusing at the time. Another of those things that seemed like a good idea at the time. Even Hitler had a softer side. He liked to paint. Did he? I've heard Napoleon liked to bake cakes. That's serious. That's honestly, I've heard that. Is Napoleon to relax? He used to bake. And I'm quoting from a movie there, so I don't know whether it's actually right. I believe Angie Dickinson quoted that to her son in Dress to Kill. I might be wrong. I need to have a look, but I'm sure that's right. So you are correct. There was a TV show called The Sarah Connor Chronicles. I couldn't even say that last week, and it starred Lena Headey and Summer Glau. Never heard of either of them, but I wouldn't mind a look at the series at some point. I'm just going to say this now. I officially challenge Tony Harris to watch the original Crow before the remake comes out. I accept the challenge. It is on my watch list. It's been on my watch list for ages. I have got a copy of it somewhere. So I will accept that challenge and I will do that, and I will try to do it this week and give you my thoughts on it next week. My thoughts on the Crow remake. The more I see and hear about it, the less I want to see it, even if the story is closer to the book. I didn't realise it was a book. Is it a comic book by any chance? Because you collect comic books mostly, don't you? Yeah, I don't know. I just thought this remake, having not seen the original movie, I just thought it looked incredibly brutal and nasty, which I assume is what the other Crow is, the original. But I will take a look at it and let you know what I think, and I'll try to do that one again this week. So I've got two movies now that I need to take a look at. That's the Roadhouse remake and the Crow remake. A lot of remakes about at the moment, isn't there? Another great episode. Looking forward to next week's episode. You'll have to drop me a message when we need to get you on an episode soon. I appreciate that, Callie, and I will. I promise you. I've still got a few bits that I'm working through, so I'm not quite ready yet. But please don't stop asking me, because I would love to come on the show again and have a bit of banter with you and the random man. So yeah, I appreciate that, mate. Mate, sorry. Sweetheart. Not thinking. So yeah, ask me again. Please keep asking me. Don't give up on me. Let's see now. What are we on? 29 minutes. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. And we're back. Take 4. Jason, you said next time you do a video, just carry on. It's what makes them unique. Look at all the mistakes in old sitcoms. You notice they just carry on. It did make me laugh. Honestly, mate, I couldn't leave all of these in. It'd drive you nuts. You'd just have 8, 9, 10, basically 20 seconds of fucking up. So I'll stick to the blooper reel for the moment, but I take your point. If I get sort of 10 minutes into a video and I fluff a word or stutter or something, I will leave it in. I won't be going back to the start and doing it again, but I do take your point on that one. Right, where were we? My review of One Night Rental, the first standalone video review of a movie that I've done for quite a while. I normally incorporate them into obviously the sort of the Saturday movie and TV zone and the Sunday service as it was back then. But I thought this movie deserved a review all on its own. Plus I was very curious to see how many hits it would actually get, or how many views. Now I haven't looked how many views it's had. I probably should have done before I started this, but I haven't yet. So I will have a look after I've done this, just to see whether it's achieving what I sort of kind of hoped it would achieve. But it got some very, very positive feedback from all of you. Chris, this is what the group has been missing. Tones Talking Pictures, standalone reviews by the man himself. Loved it. And the movie sounds up my street too. Thanks ever so much, Chris. I really appreciate that. As I say, I've had some excellent feedback to it. So we'll see how we go. Have Cheetah will view. You said, what a great take on this film. Chris Hannibal is a director to keep an eye on. Rick Malin and Danny Thompson really had great chemistry together. They did. This is Rick and his his character Clarence and his wife. They did work really well together. So I'm hoping they're going to appear together in sort of future productions. Chris Hannibal left me a comment as well, the director of the film. Thank you for the review. You're more than welcome, Chris. I really, really enjoyed it. Straight to Video, the label who released the film, they said thanks for the lovely comments, mate. Much appreciated. Really appreciate that, and you're more than welcome. Rick Malin, awesome review. Rick, awesome review, Tony, mate. Dead chuffed you enjoyed it. Now on to the next one. Spoken like a true Hollywood star. On to the next movie. Can't wait to hear what. I think it's. You did tell me what it was, and I can't remember. I think it's a found footage type thing, isn't it? Some kind of a sort of a ghost story slasher type thing. Definitely looking forward to it. Pineapple Bowtie Productions. I assume these are the folks that actually distribute it. Great review, thanks. So, thanks to all of you for the positive feedback that you gave me to that review. I will be doing more. I won't be doing one this week because I won't have time, but I'll try to separate one movie that I can talk about for sort of more than 3 or 4 minutes, and I'll do a standalone review of whatever it is, probably started next week actually. So you've not seen the last of the standalone reviews, because I want to see whether they get sort of the view rate that some of my older ones have got. And I know it's taken quite a while. The Kes one that's nearly 1,000, that's probably 2 years old. That's probably crept up and crept up and crept up, and I've not even noticed it because I've not looked at it. It's only because a colleague of mine noticed it as one of the most watched videos on the channel, and I never even thought to check. So thanks ever so much for that, much appreciated. There will be more, just bear with me on that one. Let's see, Hukes, Marvelous Sunday. Chris, I'm loving these reviews, mate. Ant-Man, as soon as you mentioned Land of the Giants, you had me, definitely. I will definitely be watching Ant-Man. I know quite a few people who've seen the first one and say it's absolutely brilliant. Not so much the second one, and I believe there's a third one which has got pretty sort of awful sort of reviews on that one. So, but yeah, really enjoying these Marvelous Sunday. I will be picking up where I left off at some point very soon. I know I keep saying this. I've got to go back to Thor, which I think was the point where I left it off, and I will start with that. And the good thing is they're all on Disney Plus, so I won't have to buy them like I used to do on Blu-ray. But I've got to admit that review you did of Thor the other week, I don't know whether that was 4K, but it looked absolutely bloody stunning. It really did. God knows what the sound must have been like. But yes, I've not seen the last of the MCU without a doubt. But yeah, enjoying your reviews, mate. Much, keep them coming. Right, I asked a question. Well, I didn't so much ask a question. I should have done. I did a thing last week where I did my favourite year in movies, or one of them, and I chose 1977 and showed off 5 films from that year. What I was meant to do after that is throw it out to you guys, and I completely forgot, and say to you lot, what would you class as your favourite year in movies, and basically tell me 5 films from that year that make you think it is your favourite. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I actually asked one of my team leaders this at work last week, Lee Wood. Morning, Lee, if you're watching. He went, my God, completely left field, total curveball. Didn't see this one coming. He went for 1939, and he gave me 3 titles: Gone with the Wind, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Wizard of Oz. I'm assuming these are all childhood favourites. They certainly were of mine. My mum loved Gone with the Wind, absolutely adored it. She saw it no end of times, all 4 hours of it, and she introduced me to it. I sat and watched it with her one rainy Saturday afternoon, and absolutely loved every minute of it. And I've loved it ever since, so I quite get that. So yeah, a good choice, Lee. I didn't see that one coming, I have to admit. But yeah, all you guys, if you let me know what your favourite year of movies is, and just throw at me, it doesn't have to be 5, just 3 will do. 3 titles from that year that basically make you think that is the best year of movies. And it won't be the last time I ask this either, because I've got another couple of years that I would love to go for, probably over the next couple of weeks. So we'll settle with this one at the moment. Just let me know what your favourite year is, and throw 3 titles at me. So that's that. The latest episode of Higgis, really enjoyed it, Callie. Your guest host Jimmy Lee Clifford, brilliant. Has he got his own channel? I assume he has. If there's a link in the bio, I'll take a look at his channel. Definitely. It was a good guest host, really, really good. I would say, Jimmy, if you're watching this, beware the pineapple. I've come off the wrong end of that one once. Wasn't nice. So you were talking about The Boys. I've not seen this series yet. I've seen the very, very first episode quite a while ago, probably about 6 months, maybe a year ago, but never followed it through, and I don't know why, but I didn't. I was warned about that very scene that you were discussing, the exploding scene. Somebody at work warned me about that one and said it's really, really grim. It's well done, but it's really nasty. So I am kind of ready for that. I believe it's in season 3 or something like that. So I've got a way to go with it. But it is a series that I would definitely love to give a go. Everyone I've mentioned The Boys to has basically said it's brilliant. You've got to have a watch. So that one is on my watch list. Stranger Things. Now then, I mean, you said, I'll quote you on this because this made me laugh. Stranger Things is better than most things Hollywood is pooping out at the moment. That made me smile. I have seen the first season of Stranger Things probably about 3-4 months ago. I finished it. I'm ready to go for season 2. I wasn't overly taken with it as such, but I thought, you know what, I'll give season 2 a go. But now listening to you talking about the series as a whole, it sounds like something that I really do need to get into. As I say, I've only seen season 1, enjoyed it, but it was nothing special. But I would definitely love to see season 2 now that you've been talking about it. What have I got? You did an excellent job, by the way, of not giving too much away to somebody like me that has only seen sort of the first series. You did a really good job of that, not giving too many spoilers away. You gave just enough away to make me want to watch it, which I assume is probably the aim of the programme. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to giving that a go at some point, and I will start it. And I've also got to restart the Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. I watched the first season of that probably about the same time as I watched the first season of Stranger Things. So I need to get back into that. I've only got one season through both of those, so I need to get back into those ASAP, because they were both good series. So yeah, it was a cracking episode, guys. Really, really enjoyed that. Looking forward to next week's, whatever it's going to be. The random guy is back next week, I assume. So we'll see how we go with that. Right, so yeah, a good episode, guys. Jason, your never seen thread. This week it was Spring and Port Wine, which is, I'll just quote little bits here. It's basically a working class movie set in Bolton, set around a family. This is a proper northern British movie. It could quite easily have been a sitcom. My mum always watches this when Talking Pictures shows it. Now, my mum doesn't watch many films, but when she does, they are British and not violent. Here are a few she likes. McVicar. What? Not violent? East is East. Brilliant. Fisherman's Friends. Not seen it. Kes. Classic. Rita Sue and Bob 2. Brilliant. Carry On Movies. Can't fault them. Mona Lisa. Superb. Can you see the pattern? Oh, and Jurassic World. Yeah, a bit random, that one. You're not kidding, that doesn't fit in at all. So I watched this movie that she raves about, and I thought it was okay. I wouldn't watch it again, but I watched it all the way through to the end. This is one I've not seen. I have actually got it on my planner. Do you call it recording it now? I don't know. But I did record it probably a couple of months ago, and it's sitting there. And as soon as I saw that you'd seen it, I thought, yep, I need to get a grip and have a look at that one. Caroline came, my old mate Caroline. You commented, I watched it years ago, about 40, and remember enjoying it. I've had a big thing since the early 80s for British films, mainly from the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. A few of my passions, as Tony will know, I do, are Georgie Girl. Used to love Georgie Girl. You got me into that one. Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, Billy Liar, A Taste of Funny, A Kind of Loving, Get Carter, you get the gist. I also love a film called A Touch of Class with George Segal and Glenda Jackson. She got the part after appearing on the Morecambe and Wise show, showcasing her comedic talent, which had been pretty much hidden until then. I love A Touch of Class. I actually wrote a review for the website. I'll see if I can stick a link on, actually. I'll share that with the group if I think on later today, just to basically kickstart sort of interest in the website. Since you've mentioned that movie, it is absolutely brilliant. The script is razor sharp. Glenda Jackson and George Segal are at the top of their game. It's just a romantic comedy, and it is just one of the best you will ever see. I would love to see this come out on Blu-ray. I've got a DVD copy upstairs somewhere, which I think I imported. I believe that was a Region 1. It's just a brilliant film. And another one to look out for is Roger Moore in The Man Who Haunted Himself. Brilliant movie, absolutely brilliant. This is the one he did just before he took on the mantle of Bond in '73. I think that was from 1971 or 72, The Man Who Haunted Himself. But well worth watching if you've not seen it. And Melody, which I've talked about many, many times, which reunites Oliver Starr, Jack Wilde and Mark Lester. A lot of these films had cracking soundtracks too. They did, absolutely they did. The soundtrack to Melody, I played it non-stop for about 2 weeks, a couple of months back. Basically after me and Rob had watched it for the first time in many years. Rob hadn't seen it and he loved it. But it's a brilliant film, and the soundtrack by the Bee Gees is just amazing. And the soundtracks to all of these are really good. So yeah, right, Velocipasta. Okay, right. I said, watch this last night. Can't say you didn't warn me. Review coming soon as I've gathered my thoughts. Let me just say this. There's bad and there's bad. Now, Mark, you said, don't lie, you fucking loved it. Rob Geary, he said, I watched the first 5 minutes and switched it off. It was dreadful. My thoughts on it. I'm not even going to go into the story because it is too ludicrous. I think I covered the story last week. Did I enjoy it? I didn't. Genuinely, I didn't. I did watch the whole 70 minutes of it. Hour and 10 minutes. I watched the whole lot. As you know, I do love the odd rubbish film, but this took crap to another level. The acting was atrocious. It's never brilliant in these movies, but this one, it was just awful. The special effects, you couldn't even call them special. The actual Velocipaster, when the guy turned into the dinosaur, was literally a man in a rubber dinosaur suit doing ninja moves and things. It was pretty much, I would say, the worst movie I have ever seen. And I know I made it sound really good when I was reading out all those comments about it last week, but those comments were probably the funniest part of the movie. Um, it genuinely did nothing for me. It is not one that I will ever be watching again. I am so glad that I didn't buy this on Blu-ray. It did cross my mind to do it, but going back to that conversation we had last week about sort of downloading movies and stuff, that is one I am so glad that I did actually get a hold of it via that route rather than purchasing it on Blu-ray, because if I'd watched that on Blu-ray and paid something like 26 quid for it, I'd have been really pissed, I'll tell you now. As I say, I do like the odd movie that's what you would class as not particularly brilliant. I keep referring back to it, but Killer Sofa, which I thought was superb. The Velocipaster makes Killer Sofa look like Citizen Kane. That's how bad it was. But given the choice between watching Velocipaster and Killer Sofa, or even Beaster Bunny, I would take either of those two any day. It was a truly, truly dreadful experience. Not one that I'm planning on repeating anytime soon. In fact, I'm thinking of giving the whole crap movies a bit of a rest and try to concentrate on films that actually mean something. Somebody did say to me at work, she'll remember this if she's watching, said to me, why do you, I think we were talking about a movie called Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead, and she just said to me, why on earth do you watch all these crap films? And you know what, I didn't have an answer for her. I do most of the time enjoy them, but this one is not one that I could even class as remotely enjoy. So no, I will not be watching Velocipaster again. I'll just put my cup down because I'm now going to show you this. This is the book that I'm taking movies from at the moment. 1001 movies that shocked the world. I'm picking titles and having a look and seeing why they shocked the world. Just put that there. This is also Bin It or Keep It for this week. Last House on the Left. Now, the last time I saw this, and Jason, you mentioned this last night, I think we saw this probably again via the same route. It was on a VHS copy, probably 4th, 5th or 6th generation copy. The quality was truly terrible. It looked awful. I remember the film being really, really unpleasant, fairly nasty, a real mean-spirited production, I thought. It was Wes Craven's first movie as a director. Obviously, he was 12 years away from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the difference between A Nightmare on Elm Street and this are like night and day. I watched this again last night for the first time in quite a few years. I bought this Arrow Blu-ray because it had got a lot of extras on it that I wouldn't have minded taking a look at. Watching this movie last night, it is just as unpleasant and foul and nauseating as it was 50 plus years ago, and I can absolutely 100% see why the BBFC had issues with this, and also the MPAA in America had serious reservations about this film. It's just horrible. The acting is not particularly brilliant. The soundtrack is weird, really, really weird. You come to the end of basically 90 minutes of complete and utter carnage, nastiness, violence, gore, and what you've got is an end title sequence that looks like something out of Smokey and the Bandit with this plucky banjo music. It's just the weirdest thing. Will I ever watch it again? I don't think so. I think the last time I saw this would have been probably sort of early to mid 80s, so I've not seen it for 40 years, and to say that it retains the shock value that it had back then, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't shocked, I just found the whole thing really, really thoroughly unpleasant. It's not one I'll be watching again. So is it a bin it or keep it? It's a keep it, but the only reason I'm keeping it is because of the documentaries that are on it. I will have a look at those, and if I like them, I will keep it, but not for the movie, for the documentaries and the sort of the little programs that are on it. If I don't like the documentaries particularly, or they're completely forgettable, this will be heading to the RSPCA, though God knows why. So I'll pick another movie from that book a little later on, and I'll let you know what it's going to be. But Last House on the Left is a definite thumbs down for all the right reasons, I'm sure. Right, Chris. Now then, you said last week that you wanted to send me something. I'd had a particularly rubbish day at work, a really crap one. I think it was Wednesday. And this item turned up, which basically made my day. Absolutely made my day. There was a lot of speculation when I put the picture on. I'll show you what, just bear with me. Bear with me. This is the box it came in. And there was a lot of speculation as to what was in it. Let's see. Jason P, you said, well, I'm guessing it's sweets or chocolate. Why would Chris be sending me chocolates? It's a lovely idea, but I don't think he would. Chris must have eaten them then and sent you something else, which he did. Guy, is it a big porcelain turd? No, it's not, Guy. No, it's not. Lee, is it Gwyneth Paltrow's head from Seven? No, it wasn't. About the right size, but it wasn't. I'll show you exactly what it was, and it's standing in front of me right now. And Chris, I cannot thank you enough for this. I did not see this coming. What I expected was possibly a DVD or a book or something like that. What I got, guys, was this beauty. Can you see that? Now, if you haven't seen the movie called Phantasm, this will mean absolutely nothing to you. I remember seeing Phantasm many, many years ago. Loved it. Haven't seen the sequels, but wait, it's not just a figure. Wait, the top comes off, and what have you got? The movies on DVD. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I was so chuffed when I saw this. I thought it was broken when I opened the box, because these things, I didn't realise, these come out and these were loose, and I thought, oh no, it's broken. But they do actually slot in like that. And it's got a nice little stand which sits underneath it like that. So this is going on that shelf behind me where all those books are when I've got those shifted. So that is where it's going to go, and this is going to be proudly displayed. I will be taking a look at the films, as I say. They're all inside there. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Chris, I can't thank you enough. I really, really sincerely appreciate that. And if there is any way that I can return the favour on that one, please don't hesitate to let me know. I would love to send you something. I've been looking round all week trying to think, what would you like? What would you like? I mean, if you want my copy of One Night Rental, you're more than welcome to have a lend of that. I'm perfectly willing to send it off to you. Just post it back to me when you've done with it. I've seen it now, so it's probably not something that I would watch again in the near future. But as I say, thank you so much, Chris. I was so pleased with that. It completely made my day, and God knows it had been a bad one until that showed up. So my sincerest thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. That's the little booklet that comes with it as well, which I believe is little details of the sort of the movie, the making of it, and this, that and the other. So yeah, my sincerest thanks, Chris. That was a lovely thought, and most welcome on that particular day, I assure you. So right, I shall very quickly, I've got a few items of news here, but I'm going to come back to them next week. One here, oh God, Kim Kardashian has turned actress in American Horror Story. She says, I always like when I can just be something different from myself. What the fuck? Kim Kardashian acting? Dear Christ, no, please. Just when you think you basically got rid of these fucking losers, these bloody Kardashians, they come back again. I'm going to come on to that next week because I'm not in the mood for a rant at the moment. I'll show you a couple of bits that I've bought. A couple of magazines. I've got the latest issue of Infinity, which turned up yesterday. Latest issue of The Dark Side, which arrived with it. And also I've got some books here. Now, I've been listening to a podcast, just bear with me. Well, they weigh a ton. These are massive. Oh, God. Oh, Christ. I listened to a podcast, as you know, called the Pure Cinema Podcast, presented by Brian Sauer and Elric Kane, who are encyclopedias of knowledge regarding older movies, cult films from the 70s right the way back. And they had a guest on talking about Danny Peary. Now, Danny Peary was a complete expert on cult movies of all sorts, and they were basically picking movies from these books to demonstrate how diverse these books are. I looked up Danny Peary on Amazon and found pretty much all of the books he'd written, and I thought, do you know what, I want all of those. So I ordered the bloody lot, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I'll start with this one. This isn't Danny Peary, produced and abandoned. The best films you've never seen, picked by critics, directors, movie stars, this, that, the other. Again, cult movies. Love cult movies, adore them. And this is the Danny Peary collection that I've ended up with. Now, look at this. Cult movie stars, but look at the size of that. Christ. These are not books that you read from cover to cover. These are books that you dip into every now and then just to see what's in them. But there's all sorts of people in it. Roy Kinnear, British actor. Laurel and Hardy are in here. Fiona Lewis, no idea. Richard Lynch, no idea. Loads. But that's cult movie stars. Then you've got the book that they were quoting from on the podcast that I listened to, Guide for the Film Fanatic. And this again is a series of cult movies. Annie Hall, Angels with Dirty Faces. These are in alphabetical order. Let's see, Doc Savage, The Man of Bronze. My God, that is one of my favourite movies of all time. Dr. Cyclops. Let's see, Hard Day's Night. Hannah and Her Sisters. Love that movie. The House That Screamed. Clute, Jane Fonda and Donald Sutherland. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Over the Edge. This is one that I've been meaning to catch up with a while. This was supposed to be one of those underground classic youth movies of the late 70s, an American film. Very sort of similar to The Outsiders. That's one I do need to take on. Rafifi, never heard of that one. Seven Samurai, 7 Year Itch. That's a treasure of a book. And then we've got his first 3 books, which are cult movies. Again, size of that. I mean, if I took on the movies that are in here, I don't think I could watch them all before I die, basically. Cult movies too. Again, quite a sizable book. You've got movies like Taxi Driver, The Phantom of the Paradise, The Parallax View, Mommy Dearest, with Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford, Marnie, Alfred Hitchcock, Last Tango in Paris. Brilliant. And of course, Cult Movies 3. And what we got in this one? Diva, never heard of that one. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. The Gods Must Be Crazy. The Naked Kiss. There are so many. These are books that I could quite happily be trapped in a room with for a week and just read these. So that's my haul for this week. Right, I'm going to round it off because I'm coming up to 29 minutes and I don't want this thing to switch off. So thanks ever so much for joining me as usual. I'll be back again the same time next week. I'll go through all these news items next week. None of them are time sensitive, so they'll keep for a week. And I look forward to having a rant about Kim Kardashian and how wonderful she is. For fuck's sake. So again, thanks ever so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that sort of thing. And one last time, I just want to say thank you, Chris, for this absolutely magnificent item, which absolutely made my day. And hopefully next week, if I get around to shifting those books, you'll see this displayed right behind me. So thank you very much, mate. And as I say, if there's anything I can do to return the favour, please don't hesitate to let me know. So, right, have a brilliant week, folks, and I will see you all again about the same time next week. Take care, everybody. Take care. Ta-da. Oh, and Dave Oliver, get well soon, mate. I know I've already said it, but get well soon. Take care. Ta-da.